Yes, people. What's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football, and we're back again with another wonderful video. Big up to all the viewers. I've been seeing you guys, even though it's international break, you guys have still been showing support and love to the channel. We did 2 community polls recently, and they hit over 2,000 what do you call it, votes. So big up to all you guys over there. And of course, you guys have been checking out the short content, everything else. So I appreciate all the love. Now let's get into the major business. Today we got two of the big boys. We got Hussam in the building representing Liverpool. We got my guy LB representing Manchester City. This is a little bit of a kind of an early preview to the big game coming up this weekend, next weekend actually, because we've been waiting for the Premier League to come back. International break is so boring. We're gonna have to touch on that. And of course, there's been some points deduction to Everton and everything around that whole situation could have some ramifications for Manchester City and Chelsea also. So we're going to have to talk about everything that's been going on, those two major topics. But of course, if you guys are watching live or you're watching on playback, please do hit the like button if you enjoy the content, and do subscribe if you're new around here. But let's get it started. First, we got my man, Hussam. This is football. I'm going to be on his show tomorrow also, and on Tuesday. So you're going to see me on his channel a couple times this week also. Don't forget to check out his content. His link is in the description also. Hussam, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Big up to everyone watching us right now. As Igal just said, whether you're watching this right now or on the replay, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, make sure you guys are subscribing. Winter is here, as you guys can see, fully wintered up. It's 11 degrees and it's raining, so it's cold. But yeah, big up the chat, man. We here. Yeah. Tomorrow we're doing a team of the season video. And then we have A-listers, so there's so much content as well. Big up, man.
It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to do my own team this season, but I'm not gonna do a whole video. I'm gonna just send a short out for you guys. But let's get to LB. LB making his debut on the channel. Big up to LB. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. All good, bro. All good. Things are quieting down now, innit? So it's all good, man. We're here to talk about football.
It's gonna pick back up next week because you got Man City versus Liverpool, and you know how that is. Everyone's gonna be wanting to book you in, bro. But before we go any further, there's a debut question I ask every time I have somebody on. Hussam probably knows what the question already is. How did you become a Manchester City fan? Because I always ask, how did you become a fan of that club whenever if somebody comes on this news? So let me know a little bit of the story. How did you become a Manchester City fan?
Dad was a City fan.
That's it. Done.
That's it. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I had a season ticket from about 13, 14. And then, I did a home and away quite a lot in like the late teens, early 20s. And then I started a podcast maybe back in like 2018. I did the podcast going to the City games as well. And then what else happened after that? Yeah, and then basically we were just doing like some videos and stuff on YouTube. And then this was with City Extra, my previous role. And then, COVID hit. So we started just to do watch-alongs in the COVID period. So that's the only reason we did watch-alongs, because of COVID. So people always like trying in first shit, but that's the only reason we did it, because COVID was there. And then it got to the point. So I was at the Real Madrid game in 2020 or 2019. And I was at the United game as well, away from home, when we got beat. And then, then COVID happened, started doing the watch-alongs. And then when COVID ended, or like basically football came back, I had a decision to make. And the decision was, do we go back to the City matches, or do I try and maybe make this as a job? And then we tried to make it a job, and it worked. And then obviously about 4 months ago, I left City Extra, and now I'm riding solo, man. So that's my life, innit, bro? That's my life.
It's like Jason Derulo. I'm riding solo.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Let's get it. Anyways, big up everyone in the comment section. I can see Hussam's armies in the building. Big up to all you guys, and some of the City fans in the building also, like the regulars, like Daniel in the house also. LB, you probably know Daniel. And Hussam, you probably know Daniel too. But let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen.
Daniel the hater.
Let's get into it. Before we go any further, people, do me a favor. We got 2 heavy hitters for you guys. Do hit that like button right now and show some love to their channels also. Links to their channels are in the description. But before we go any further, there's been some big news, guys. I don't know if you guys have seen it. You've probably done your own content on it. But Everton were hit with a points deduction. And I think this is where we need to begin, because actually, forget about that. Let's talk about the one thing we don't like, the international break. Because this international break culminated yesterday's game, where France beat who'd they beat?
Gibraltar
14-0. And France's youngster, PSG's youngster, gets injured. They score 14 goals, break a record. and all these guys do what they do. But really and truly, it just culminates in showing you that the whole system for the international cup qualifications is broken. How is a team scoring 14 goals in a cup qualifier?
Did you see that shameless man, Kylian Mbappe, celebrating his goal at like 12-0? I mean, come on, bro. That guy is so shameless, bro. You're playing Gibraltar, mate. Your team's about 11 or 12-0 up. I don't exactly know how many goals up at the time. And the guy's celebrating, bro. It's like, oh, come on, man.
You don't like the celebration, or you don't like the fact
Excellent.
that it's unsports? I think it's professional football. At the end of the day, let him celebrate. I think the issue is, why is
Nah.
playing France in a
Bro,
qualifier?
he's meant to be one of the best football. Now that Ronaldo is gone and Messi's gone, he's now meant to be that guy. Yeah, he's meant to be the man. He's, most people say he's the best footballer in the world right now. Like, if you score the 12th goal in a 14-0 hammering of Gibraltar, I'm not saying don't celebrate, but the way you celebrate, for me, it was just, listen, I come across as a celebration police here, and usually I'm against celebration police, but I just thought that was a little bit I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I just thought it was weird, bro.
I'm just disappointed. I actually like France. I support France in cup competitions, but to see them beat a team 14-0, I don't think that's entertaining for anybody. Hussam, what do you think?
Yeah, first of all, the international break is crap, to be honest with you. I was on LB's watch log. He was doing England versus Malta. I publicly apologized to him for having to endure that crap right there. International football fell off, to be honest with you. I feel like it's being kind of just shoved in our faces, international football. No one really likes it like that, because I think they're just kind of cramming it in our face. All the fixtures, all the Nations League, blah, 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 all this. I've had enough of the international break. Like, I can barely watch, like, maybe Argentina, Brazil is really the only game I can watch, to be honest with you. Other than that, I just can't do it. I just can't
Hey,
do it.
Hussam, I got a question for you, yeah? Because I see that the Asian Cup is in January, and I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to be sports washed and support the UAE, who apparently are pretty sick. I was checking their record out yesterday, and it's actually, they've got a good record. Or should I go on Google and do a random Google generator and pick a team off a list? How should I pick the UAE, or should I let Google pick my team for the
You should
Asian
pick
Cup?
the UAE. 100%.
I should pick that. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
people say I've been sports washed, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's okay. You could be sports
It's
watch,
okay.
just like your club. Yeah, you represent Man City.
Listen, I was supporting the Rams, even though I'm a Seahawks guy. It was weird, but hey, I don't know if you guys know that they're kind of like a little rivalry there. It's weird, but hey, it is what it is. Let's talk about this though. Can the international break be fixed? Is there a way they can fix it? Because I'm thinking, if they could just get rid of the international break mid Premier League season and just have a big little thing at the end of the season, that makes more sense, no?
That was one of the solutions I proposed when we were talking about it 2 years ago. I said, look, I think if you want people invested in international football, what you should do is have no international breaks until basically March, April. And essentially, from April until like June, just have international football. And then players will get the 2-month break, and then the season starts. I think that for me is an actual logical solution, because that way, if we had, like us three as well as football fans, if we had no choice but to watch international football, then we'd do it. Like if it was essentially like the Euros or the Asian Cup or the AFCON or whatever it is, qualifier, stuff like that, then we'd watch it. But right now, it's just like we're still kind of thinking about our clubs. Like, we're here to talk about Liverpool, Man City, a week from now, even though England still have a game, even though France still have a game, even though Brazil are playing Argentina. Like, the only time international break is good is when your team's crap, to be honest with you. It's like you're taking a break basically from the BS, to be honest with you.
Taking a break from the banter.
Yeah, last season was the perfect time for me to have international breaks, because Liverpool were crap. And unfortunately, we didn't have international breaks because of the Qatar World Cup. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man.
I got
just
a question
annoying.
though, because maybe, obviously, the reason it's boring for me as an English fan is because I know my team, England, is going to qualify 99% of the time, yeah, for the tournaments. So whenever we're doing qualification for Euros or World Cup, it's just like it's boring, because the outcome is always going to be the same 99% of the time. I don't know whether if I was Irish or if I was Scottish or if I was from maybe another country in Europe or wherever for qualification, and I wasn't that team that was guaranteed, maybe I would have a different perspective on it, because then you're actually watching games. For example, I was just saying to Igal, Monday night, tomorrow night, Italy versus Ukraine. Whoever wins basically qualifies for the tournament. So for them, that's going to be a big win. They'll probably get excited for that. But I would never get excited for a qualification game, because for England, we're never in big matches. It's always just we qualify.
Do you care about the Nations League final?
The what?
The Nations League final.
Probably like, it's one of them. It's probably like the Community Shield. Like if we win it, it's all right. If we lose it, I don't care.
There is something you do care about: Erling Haaland getting injured on international break. That is something that will piss
he's
you
fine
off.
now. He's fine now.
He's fine. But my point is, imagine a player that important potentially could have got injured in a meaningless game where they've already not qualified for the World Cup or the Euros.
Well, yeah, I know, but what can you do? You can't say. I get what you're saying. From a City point of view, yeah, that's not great. But like, you can't really say to him, bro, you can't go play Norway friendlies because they're dead. Yeah, we pay your wages. Like, representing your country is representing your country, bro. Like, I get it. I get what you're trying to say. But for me, I wouldn't really say that's not a great thing. And I'm looking at it. And before, I think they can't qualify.
Haaland doesn't play well for Norway anyway. So him not going.
They're officially eliminated.
What do you mean by that, Hussam?
Don't even start.
No. I didn't start. You started, bro. You started.
Haaland plays like shit for Norway. Don't even.
Okay, so what? No, I'm asking you to explain. What
John
do you mean
Carew is a better striker for his national team.
Okay. So what do you mean about? How do you mean he's not good?
He doesn't play well for Norway at all. And I'm saying, and this is from the last World Cup qualifiers where they had a really easy group to make it. And this time as well, like they didn't play well. Didn't play well in the qualifiers.
So 27 goals in 29 games is not good, no?
No, so you're just and how many of them can you tell me who he scored against?
Name
one good team he scored against. Go on.
The real issue is
because I already know there's only one big team he scored against. The rest of them are all Malta, Gibraltar.
Serbia a good team. Sweden are a good team. Scotland, who are a good
you're
team.
counting friendlies now.
Scotland is a European qualifier.
Scotland. Oh wow, he scored against.
They're qualified. They've qualified. But what are you saying that? They've qualified.
Yeah, Scott McTominay has played better for Scotland than Haaland has done for Norway.
Yeah, but he's not a defender. He's not a defender.
The problem is they lost to Norway. I mean, Norway lost to Scotland and they drew against Georgia, and that's what got them out. Basically, the Spanish games they're going to end up losing regardless, but they couldn't beat Scotland to that final spot. I think it's.
But why should they be losing regardless if they have the best player in the world?
Forget about that. They have two of the best players in the world. They shouldn't be doing that.
I just say.
I know it's an 11-man sport, but Odegaard and Haaland need to pick it up because that's 3 competitions where they haven't been able to.
Okay, no. Let me just check this. Yeah, so this is his performance in the Euro qualifiers. Okay, so the first game Spain and the second game Georgia, he was injured, he didn't feature. Yeah, the third game he scored. The fourth game he scored 2. The 5th game he scored
against Cyprus.
The 6th game he scored 2.
He can only play
against. No, so you can't do that, bro. He can only.
He scored twice against Cyprus, once against Georgia.
So what do you want him to do? So what do you want him to do? He's scoring against the team.
I want him to take Norway to the Euros. Is that too much to ask for?
Did he play against Scotland? The first leg.
The home game. The home game
he did, and they lost 2-1 to Scotland.
And he scored.
That game is the difference between them not making it and making it.
Yeah,
but how's that Haaland's fault? He scored a goal.
It's the whole team fault.
Scotland, Cyprus, and Georgia, and you couldn't make it to the Euros. Best player in the world, my ass.
I'm just going to be honest. I hold both of them accountable. They're the 2 best players in the team. Odegaard's the captain. Haaland's the best player in the team.
Should we check Odegaard's stats in those? Should we check Odegaard's, see how he performs?
Yeah, you could say Odegaard underperformed.
I'm already holding him accountable.
Yeah, see the difference in you and Igal? Igal owns it. You don't own it. Say it.
No, but I don't own it because he scored in every single qualifying game bar 1.
No. He doesn't score when it matters.
If Erling Haaland's the best player in the world, he should be able to raise his team's level, even though there's other players around the world.
He scored in every single qualifier bar 1, and you're saying that's not good.
Still lose some of those games.
Okay, let's have a look at your point. Let's have
the only big game he scored then. No, the Netherlands. That's the only big game he scored.
The simple question is, if you're the best player,
other than that, that's his entire resume. It goes against Latvia and Gibraltar.
If you're the best player in the team, and you have a decent team around you, and you have another great player next to you, you should be getting to the tournament. We've seen Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale get to a tournament.
Okay, Igal, let me speak on your boy then, Odegaard, because I've just proved that my guy scored in every single qualifier apart from 1.
And
have a look at
Odegaard
your-
actually showed up to every game.
Okay, let's have a look. Creative player, yeah, creative player. Group game 1, 0 goals, 0 assists. Group game 2, 0 goals, 0 assists. Group game 3, 0 goals, 0 assists. Group game 4, 1 assist. Group game 5, 1 goal. Group game 6, 0 goals, 0 assists. And group game 7, 0 goals, 0 assists. So 2 goal involvements in 7 matches. He played 90 minutes in every single one, apart from group game 6, where he played 77.
Do you want to do it that way, or do you want to look at the player ratings and factor in everything he did in that?
You want to
game?
look at the player? I'm giving you cold hard facts, Igal, that every single game Haaland played, he scored at least 1 goal.
No, but you're doing goals.
He's a
and
creative
assists.
player.
At
Hussam,
the
that's
end
what
of
he's
the
meant
day,
to do.
I'm
LB, who's better, Gallagher or Soboslai?
I would say probably depends on the situation.
LB, don't try to be smart. You know it's Soboslai. Come on. Listen,
Yeah,
here's the thing.
I say
By the way,
Soboslai.
last season in the calendar year, Haaland scored 3 goals for Norway. 2 of them penalties. The one non-penalty goal he scored, Odegaard assisted him.
Okay, let's just take a break for a second. We're gonna try to change it over to something else in a second. But before we go,
LB wasn't ready for that uppercut right there. Pow, pow. Let's go.
1 second, guys. 1 second. Hit that like button, guys. Don't forget to do that. Sam saying Odegaard is not one of the best. Stop. You got stop. Listen, I'm being honest, bro. He has been last season, and let's see if he can keep it up and sustain it, and then show he's actually that world-class player that we think he can be. Next, Hussam, what has Salah done for Egypt? Yo, I have
nothing. That's a great question, Hamza's piano. He qualified them to the World Cup for the first time in 30 years. And in the penultimate game against DR Congo, he scored twice to beat Congo 2-1 and qualify to the World Cup. And the last AFCON, Egypt had 4 goals. He scored 2 of them and assisted the 3rd.
Mahrez clear, bro. Mahrez clear.
Is Mo Salah or Abu Treka? Who's the greatest Egyptian of all time?
Listen, for me, I'm very biased. It has to be Abu Treka. Abu Treka, I think, is one of the greatest African players of all time. I saw Igal's tweet. Igal does not deserve to get cooked for no reason, because Abu Treka is definitely... Abu Treka and Mo is a conversation, 100%. People need to stop acting like it's not just because Abu Treka didn't play in Europe. It's just a stupid way to think of things. Abu Treka was sitting down midfielders and players who played in Europe. Ask Yaya Toure about Abu Treka. Ask some of the best African midfielders we've seen play in Europe about Abu Treka. Ask John Obi Mikel about Abu Treka. He'll tell you. Ask Michael Essien about Abu Treka. He'll tell you. He ran rings around them, and he won 3 back-to-back AFCONs as the best player on the team. Like, it's just the reality with Abu Treka. We cannot deny it. I think Abu Treka is probably top 3 African players of all time. Him, Eto'o, and George Weah are the 3 for me.
Big up, big up. The thing is, Abu Treka himself says Mo Salah deserves to be the best in history. So I kind of conceded there. But the thing is, yeah, I do believe it's a conversation. Let's go on to the next conversation, though. Going on to this point deduction. This opens a whole new can of worms, and especially for this means FFP actually means something now. All of a sudden, for the longest time, I don't know about you guys, but I thought FFP was just to basically protect to stop Bolton and these kind of guys going out of business and having the whole league go out of business. That's what I thought FFP was for. But now that they're punishing teams that are fully okay, they're just double checking their books. They're actually making sure that people are staying sustainable. Because Everton, potentially, if they didn't have rich owners, they could go into a situation where they financially cannot pay their employees. And that's the reasoning why they're giving them this point deduction. They're almost making an example out of them for being one of those teams that tried to go above and beyond to win and paid way more and spent way more and couldn't sustain it. They had to sell a lot of players. They weren't able to do that. They didn't make the returns. And overall, it was small margins, but those small margins cost them 10 points. And it's the second largest ever in English football points and the largest points deduction in Premier League history. It's crazy to think. And everyone, you know what they do, LB? Immediately when they see this, their first thought process is Man City and Chelsea could be next. That's what first thing that pops in people's mind. And you even see the articles every day. You can't. I know it's not something you like to hear, but it's the reality is they're gonna come for you guys next. That's what everyone's gonna say.
Yeah, well, first of all, what you just said then is absolute nonsense, Igal. Yeah, FFP is nothing to do with protecting teams, right? Because you just said then this is all about, you know, making sure that Everton can pay their wages and pay their staff. That's nonsense, man. That's absolute nonsense. Yeah,
that's how it started.
That's how it started, but that's not the rule. That is not the rule. Let's just get that right. Yeah, and to back that up, Niall Quinn is was a chairman at Sunderland, right, when they were in the Premier League, and he said he went to the FFP meeting before it was introduced, and what they said there and what the actual rules were completely different. So that's coming from an actual legit source, and he said that when he was on Sky Sports in an interview. But yeah, listen, it's an interesting one because teams are going to have to start taking this seriously now, and you've heard previously that maybe some teams, like Chelsea, are going to just not really care about FFP because they felt that the punishment for breaching FFP would be a financial one, and therefore, if you've got a billionaire owner, who cares? Or even if it's like a reduced squad size or whatever, or you can only spend a certain amount, like they can just deal with that. Now, teams are going to have to maybe reassess whether or not they can continue acting the way they have, because now the punishments are more serious. So, listen, I don't agree with FFP. I think it's a lot of nonsense. I think it's anti-competitive. It is designed solely to keep the big clubs at the top of the table, and whichever way you like it, Manchester City are now a big club. So it's not in my best interest.
Of course, a City fan would say that. Of course, LB.
No, because Osam, you're not being honest. You're not being honest there with what you just said, because as a City fan, if I was speaking purely City and purely football in terms, I would be saying FFP is great, ramp FFP up. The reason I'm not, because City are now at the top table. City are now getting the revenue, so we're not going to be in FFP problems going forward. What?
This is where your whole theory gets debunked, because you look at Newcastle. You look at Newcastle, they haven't spent a ridiculous amount of money. They've abided by FFP, and they've gotten themselves from relegation to Champions League. So it goes to show you that you can build. It's just you have to abide by more stricter rules now. It's not about keeping teams out, or else there wouldn't be an RB.
It's about slowing down that process. It's about slowing down the process and preventing teams from really, really challenging and becoming a solid club. Because to do that, you've got to invest, like any business. So you want to get big revenues, you want to be successful, you have to invest in growth. And that's going to mean taking losses in the early years. And that's what they're trying to prevent. That's simple.
So I mean, here's the thing. There is a correct way to do stuff, because 5 years ago, pre-Klopp, Liverpool weren't moving like a big club. There's no need for us to sit up here and like Liverpool are a big club in stature, but we weren't moving like a big club. What we did not do is do what Chelsea done or do what City done. We did not put 400 million in 2 transfer windows and just change the whole club. There is a way to do it, the quote unquote the right way, the correct way to build success step by step by step. Now, FFP is supposed to protect from what Chelsea is doing right now. By the way, even City haven't done as much as Chelsea has done right now. What Chelsea are doing is insane. The reason why we don't talk, you know why the reason why we don't talk about it, by the way, is because Chelsea are 10th. If Chelsea were in first place, everyone would be having a completely different conversation. Let's just establish that real quick, because I don't like the fact that we don't show the same energy to Chelsea either. People need to understand something. 115 million Caicedo, 100 million Enzo, how much money on Mudryk, how much money on all the players that they bought, their center backs. They're like, it's just we have to sit up here and just establish that Chelsea are probably with the whole, but they all learned the word. What's the word that they kept using every time you mentioned it? Chelsea fans, no. Chelsea fans kept using a word every time. Amortization. Yeah, they learned the word and then they just kept having it on repeat. Look, you can win stuff, and every club has a right to compete. Every club has a right to get to the top. We're just talking about the how. If Man City came in, bought 2-3 good players and went from a mid-table club to 6th, 7th, and then once again they got Champions League football. They kind of won a trophy or two, and then they started finishing 2nd, 3rd, first, won the Premier League, and then established dominance. It's completely different to spending money. That's the thing. In a specific fashion, and that's what FFP protects from. FFP protects essentially from another Manchester City happening, which is tomorrow. By the way, Igal just mentioned it, Newcastle. The reason why Newcastle can't spend 300 million in a transfer window and go all out ham crazy is FFP. So essentially, we are protected because Newcastle have to do it step by step to get to that set certain level. That's basically the thing.
Basically, we cannot see teams like Newcastle go from a relegation battle to signing Mbappe. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes, that's what I mean.
There has to be a gradual build to it, similar to how there would be a gradual build even in a video game. You can't go if you have unlimited money and just sign whoever you want, even in a video game. I know it's a ridiculous comparison, but the reality is there is an understanding where there's going to have to be a gradual build. They're not trying to stop the next City from happening, because guess what? If Everton get taken over or another team gets taken over like West Ham, they could potentially become another City. They could potentially become another powerhouse that comes into.
You're speaking about semi-big clubs or big clubs. What it's going to do, it is going to prevent any club that isn't like a big club, so like a Luton Town.
I don't agree.
You don't agree with that?
No, because
how is Luton Town going to get? How is Luton Town going to grow their revenue to £700 million? How are they going to do that?
The same way RB Leipzig did it from division, whatever they came from in Germany. You basically just you slowly build the quality of your squad by buying smart and hoping the value of your squad increases. And then you start paying your players more wages because you now earn more money. And then you can increase your fan base as you get a bigger stadium. It takes a longer period because when you're starting from such a small place. But guess what? Teams can do it. It will take them a while.
Why they being
you guys move stadiums. When you move stadiums, you guys got fortunate because of the Olympics, no?
No.
Where did your stadium originally come from?
Manchester City Council, but it was the Commonwealth Games.
Okay, so that's what I meant.
Oh, you're such a look at this guy. There's no way you're gonna be that semantics.
Did you have to build that stadium? No. Were you guys a little bit fortunate you got into a bigger stadium without having the cost of having to build it? Yes. Could that happen for another team like West Ham? It did. Now, if West Ham can revamp that stadium, West Ham could have a potential stadium on the size of a Bernabeu.
It's not the Olympics, it's the Commonwealth game. That's not the point, LB.
No. The point is, the fact is, the small clubs, the more local clubs that have a smaller stadium have a rope around their neck because they are not allowed to invest properly like everybody else. Why is it okay for Manchester City, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea to throw £500 million at a transfer market, but Luton Town, oh no, you can't spend that much money.
Because they have the equity.
No, but why not? Why are they not allowed to do that?
Because not every team has the actual equity. Because guess what? Your owner could spend this much money and then get tired of it and then try to sell the club in debt, which has happened numerous times.
You know what, though? When I see people like Vinny in the chat, who support Brentford and are in favour of FFP, it honestly just makes me forget this whole moral sort of crusade that I'm on of trying to get rid of FFP. Because let me tell you something, as a City fan, I'm telling you now, from a competitive point of view, ramp up FFP even more. Ramp it up, mate, because we're fine now. We're okay. We'll spend what we want. It's the smaller clubs who've been brainwashed by mainstream media that FFP is this good thing when it's not. It's shockingly bad.
It's the opposite. LB, you're the champions for the small clubs. They look at City and they say that could be us one day. They look at you and say, "Oh my God, they did it. We could do it."
Chelsea, they can't do it no more. They can't do it.
Only if FFP doesn't exist.
1 second. City looked at Chelsea.
This is that when we got them. LB just publicly admitted. Admitted it. LB, we all heard you.
City looked at Chelsea and they said, "We could do that." They did it even better. Now Newcastle is looking at City and they're saying, "We're going to do it even better by abiding by FFP." And then Newcastle will then be the new example for teams that they could grow. I'm not saying the system is perfect. I'm just saying FFP is not what you think it is, a tool to keep certain people up and certain people down, or else there wouldn't be systems where you see teams like RB Leipzig coming through. There wouldn't be systems where you see teams like Monaco winning in the French league. There wouldn't be systems where teams just go up and down. It happens all the time. It goes in roundabouts. City right now are doing amazing, and you guys have gotten up to this level, but there's going to be a time where you guys drop down, and there could be a potential another powerhouse that comes into the top 6 in the coming years. And that could be Newcastle, or it could be West Ham.
Yeah, but the difference is with Newcastle are a massive football club, so they will make it and they will be fine. My point is the smaller clubs with a stadium of like 20,000, you know what I mean, and maybe are on not even in a major city in the UK, they're not going to be able to do it. But when you got people in the chat who support these clubs who come at me saying I'm wrong, fair dude, I don't care, mate. I'm just saying you need to look into the rules. I know the rules because my club's been facing it for a decade, yeah. So I'm just telling you, if you want to support these clubs and say the FFP is great, but you'll never win the Premier. You'll never go through the journey that I've been through as a City fan. When I was watching City be rubbish year after year after year, and then we won the lottery, and then 5 years later, I'm stood in the Bernabeu, in the Nou Camp, Bayern Munich, yeah, watching my team play. You'll never go through that, so it's okay. You keep putting in the chat that I'm wrong and you're right, and as I've seen my team win trophies in the most dramatic fashions, you'll never see that. But it's okay because you're right. It's fine. I don't care anymore. These people, man, these are the people that wind me up. I don't get wound up by Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, United fans. I could care less. It's when the fans of the so-called smaller clubs who I'm trying to open their eyes and show them that what they're saying is completely stupid, and yet they're so blinkered because they're a sheep and that they can't think for themselves. They only go off what other people tell them. Well, fair enough. I don't care, innit? I don't care no more. I'm rattled and I'll accept it.
Okay, so to come to a conclusion, Hussam, you agree with me? You think FFP is not to hurt the teams, but to protect?
Yeah,
football?
I think, but we need to apply it, and I think we need to apply it stricter, more strict. I think
I
all
agree.
this amortization, all this dumb shit Chelsea done. By the way, like this is why, like LB understands where I'm coming from as well, because I'm not just making this about City. This whole Chelsea amortization crap, I don't get it either. I'm gonna be honest with you. This whole like, oh, so if I just give him a 9-year contract, I'm gonna just pay the transfer over the 9 years. Yeah, but that's not the point. You're gaining a significant advantage by signing £100 million player right now. Like, you know, essentially look at Arsenal with Declan Rice. Imagine Arsenal.
Game changer.
Yeah, exactly. He changed the game for you, right? Okay, now imagine 5 Declan Rices. But all you had to do was amortize it over a period of 6 years. Like, it's just the dumbest thing, man. I just don't understand.
Quickly to talk about Chelsea, they're not trying to do it the way football we do it. We've been doing it in years in football. He's taking a Major League Baseball approach where he's just trying to acquire as many talents and turn their team into a farm team where they just farm so many talent that eventually they're going to be good. But even in North American sports, we've seen it, Hussam. How many teams have amazing young talent but never become Oklahoma City Thunder with Kevin Durant and stuff? They end up turning into the Charlotte Bobcats.
The
Clippers? The Charlotte Bobcats or the Clippers, you know what I mean?
Charlotte Bobcats, yep, Charlotte Bobcats.
So right now, I get it. It's a Chelsea. What they're doing is crazy, but there's never been history to say.
Yeah, but that's why you need to have the right structure in place. Yeah. Like what LB said, Leicester won the league. That's a prime example right there of a smaller club. Let's all be honest, okay? Growing up, Leicester are a nobody. Let's not act now like Leicester were some sort of big club or some massive club. They're not. Leicester, my entire life, Leicester were a nobody, okay? Leicester won the league. Now, had Leicester made 2-3 correct decisions after they won the league, they would have established themselves as a top 4 club. Simple as. Had they went like, okay, we won the league, I'm not going to sell Kante. So did anyone force them to sell Kante to Chelsea? No one. They could have kept Kante. They could have kept Mahrez, and they could have built on that, signed 2-3 world-class players. Now they're top 4 side. That's it. So you don't need to do it the City way, or you could do it the right way, the process. Make a process and take it step by step by step.
Look at Southampton. Southampton could have won the league if they kept all their talent. They had amazing talent. Mane, Gareth Bale, Theo Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain. How many other players? Lallana, Luke Shaw, like
Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk. How did I forget him? Ozan Kabak. Yes, he's a center back. Big up to Ozan. He says, big up Iga, an elite panel. Come on, bro. Allow LB, my guy. Anyways, let's get into the next topic. The next topic is, guys, before the season, I said there's no way the Premier League title race is going to be a 3-horse race. But do you think we can keep this up for the next 10 games after this? And we could be 22 games in, and it could be another 3-horse race. I haven't seen that since, I would say, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, when we finished like 6 points across from each other back in the day. I'll start with you.
I think we're the only 3 clubs who could do it, to be honest with you. Now that the imposters have fucked off, finally they're in 4th place. Now we can do all this. Good day, mate. It's just done my nerves for the first 2 months. Just fucking pissed me off. Anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way, yes, the 3 clubs that can do it are us 3. I think City and Arsenal and Liverpool can sustain a title challenge up until March, April time minimum. Now, March, April time is where everything changes. Now, what's unlucky for us, me and you, Igal, is these bastards wake up come February time. That's the problem. So they're just coasting through come February time. So we need to establish some sort of lead by February time in order for us to have any sort of hope of winning the league. Because come February time, Man City wake up always. So that's the problem. But I do think it actually will be a three-way title race. And I'm looking at the season, right? And even the fact that we're in November, I don't think anyone hits 90 points. I think this is going to be like 88, 86, 84, 88, 85, 82 type thing. Like, I think we're going to be very close. And by the way, as you can see it from the league right now, Liverpool and Arsenal are 1 point behind Manchester City.
And you could say Liverpool
Manchester City aren't looking at their best, but what makes this crazy is neither Liverpool or Arsenal are looking at their best either. Like I haven't, I'm not yet to see my club be like in fourth gear in games and just destroying people and shit. Like that's what I'm saying. So all three clubs are, what's mad? What's an indicator of how much better the three clubs we support are better than everyone else?
How?
I don't think I've seen our clubs consistently, and correct me, LB, correct me, Igal, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've consistently, I'm saying, gotten out of like third, fourth gear, and we're still way better than everyone else. That's what's fucking mental. Like that's what it's insane how like you could just watch Liverpool in third gear and go like that's better than Man United in sixth gear. And you can watch City in third gear and you're like, that's better than Chelsea in sixth gear. And you can watch Arsenal and say the same. Like, it's just, I think if Arsenal, Liverpool, and City kick on, we can sustain it. We can sustain it. There's no reason why
we jump in here before I pass the mic over to LB. LB, you're literally a Rodri suspension away from being undefeated at this moment in time with all these wins. You're literally, what do you call it, a VAR correct decision away from being 2 more points higher up, and we're a Newcastle disallowed goal away from being undefeated in the league. So it's small margins, but it just goes to show you how close we have been, the three of us. And I think all three of us have had moments in the season where we've dropped games undeservedly or felt like we could have done better in those games. But yeah, LB, take it away. What do you think about the 3-horse race?
I think City will win it in the end by around 7 to 9 points. That's my prediction.
Why so confident?
Why am I confident that we'll win the league?
No, why so confident you'll win it by 7 or 8 points? You don't think it's going to be close?
I would argue 7 to 9 points is close. It's what, 2.5 games, 3 games? That's not really a lot, really, if you think about it. So
you finished 5 points ahead of Arsenal last season.
Yeah. No. We were shocking in the first 6 months. So this year we're top of the league already. We've not had Kevin De Bruyne all season. As you said, the 2 games that we dropped points, we had no Rodri. So I am thinking.
Yeah, but that's excuses. I'm not letting that run. We cannot do that, guys. Come on.
No.
That's excuses.
I know it's an excuse. I know it's an excuse. I'm just saying that is also factual information. So yeah, I think it's legit. I think City will win the league.
Rodri played. You drew 4-4 to Chelsea. You allowed Nicholas Jackson to score against your club. Come on, LB. Let's not do that. Come on.
What are you saying? I don't understand the point that you make.
Excuse. I just don't like the Rodri excuse. I just don't think you were good enough on the day, even if you had Rodri.
I would say I've actually said I don't think we would have won either game, even if we did have Rodri. But I don't think we would have lost
LB. See, that's why we all like LB.
I don't think we would have lost them, no. I don't think we would have lost either game if we had Rodri, but I don't think we would have won them either. So yeah, listen, I think that we'll win it 7 to 9 points. That's 2 and 3 games. That's not really that much, really, when you think about it. And I think there won't be much between Liverpool and Arsenal. Early season prediction was I think Liverpool would be our main title contenders above Arsenal, because I don't actually think Arsenal done any good. Well, they didn't do any, but they didn't do enough transfer business, and Liverpool's attack is frightening. So I think I'm going to revert back to my original prediction, because Arsenal fans got onto me, man, and pressured me into changing my mind. So I'm going to go back to my original LB prediction. I think it'll be City, Liverpool, Arsenal, top 3.
So you're basically saying, I think 7 to 6 points means there's no title race at the end. It just means we fall off and you win it, like not always. That's what you're predicting, right?
I don't know how the finish will occur. You know, I mean, whether we maybe drop points towards the end and you catch us up, but we still win it, or City just, I don't know. I don't think City are going to win it by like 10, 15 points. We've only done that once. since we've won the Premier League. You know, I mean, everyone likes to go on saying City making it like the Bundesliga. If you actually look at the title races, City have only really won the league once, where it's been clear. Every other time, it's been very, very close, as you can attest to last year in Hussam as well. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be massively. I think it's going to be, you know, a couple of matches, but I just don't think Arsenal have done enough, man. I think their transfer business was disappointing.
I think this is a good segue. We might as well talk about Arsenal. Arsenal this season. Hussam already touched on it. You just touched on it. I'll be honest with you guys. We have not been good attacking wise, but we've been so solid in controlling games and being defensively solid that we're managing these games and we're getting goals. Somehow we're getting goals. We have the most. I think we have 8 goals from set pieces. I think it's one of the most in the league from this season in the Premier League already. And open play goals, I think we only have 11 out of our 26 are open play goals. So it just goes to show you how little we've been scoring in open play. We're creating chances, I think, but it's just we're not finishing them off. And the real reason why I put that down to is we haven't had the consistency and continuity in our attack this whole season. We've had Martinelli out injured at times. We've had Bukayo Saka miss a game, and he's been the one guy who's been there the most. Jesus barely played this season, and them three have basically not been playing together the majority of the season. The attack has been poor. And then you go to the midfield. The Kai Havertz experiment has not been working, so it just makes things even worse. But the solidity in our defense and Declan Rice being there every single game, and even though Partey is out injured, we still have Declan Rice there, just adds this element that we didn't have last year. I'm telling you guys right now, if we had Declan Rice last season, we would have won this league easy. It's just because think about it. We finished 5 points behind you.
Easy.
Yeah, we finished 5 points. We finished 5 points behind you, and I think Declan Rice would have made up at least six points difference in the league in our season standings, because Partey kept getting injured, or Partey kept missing games, or certain individual defenders would miss games. And Declan Rice is just such a solid piece to that midfield, just gives us so much solidity, allows everybody else in attack so much more freedom, knowing that he's behind you. And we could even
underperforming where you were last year. Then you have Declan Rice now, and you're performing worse than you were this time last year. So how come?
Because we changed. Because a change in personnel has made us have to adapt and find a new way of playing. Similar to how Manchester City had to find a new way of playing with Erling Haaland, we're kind of trying to figure out how to do that without our main man who passes the ball around in Granit Xhaka not being there anymore. So Arteta made a bold change, but this change is going to be something where we have to adapt. And who's to say throughout the season we don't start to click into gear and we don't start to figure it out? Because at this moment in time, the midfield has not clicked into gear. Where as for Liverpool, I'm surprised how quickly their midfield has clicked in. And it started to work out well. And you can tell yourself, you remember last season how long it took for you guys to figure it out. I wouldn't say Pep is not going to have a solution for any problem, but Mikel Arteta has to find a solution for this problem.
I agree.
Go on,
I agree. I think Mikel Arteta has to find a solution, because where I'm looking, I think you look worse than last year. And I think you look considerably worse when we're talking about levels of the title. I look at Arsenal, and I've seen them play pretty much every single Premier League game this year, apart from Bournemouth. And I don't think I've watched you play well once. What once? The only games that Arsenal fans tell me they played well. Okay, PSV played against you. They tried to play. Bournemouth tried to play.
Sheffield United?
I didn't watch that.
Okay.
But okay, but you're not taking major dubs off Sheffield United, right? That's
what
not
about,
like a.
What about the fact that we beat you?
I don't think you were that good that day.
I thought we were really good defensively, and you know what? We got the goal that we needed to get.
I'm not saying you were bad. I just don't think you were. I don't think you were that good. I don't think anyone watched that and gone, "Oh yeah, they were really good today." I just think it was a very, very close game, as proved by the stats. And you nicked it with a deflected goal. Congratulations, take the 3 points. But I don't think anyone would look at that again and go, "You were very good that day."
But guess what? Even with that being said, we have the best. We were tied with Liverpool with the best defense in the league. We have one less goal than Liverpool, who have a much better attack than us. We're 5 off you, 6 off you actually in goals. Our goal difference is 16 right now, and we've only lost 1 game this season. So even though we've been so poor in our attack,
So what I'm saying basically
winning our games based off our defense.
Yeah. So what I'm saying basically is I don't think what you're doing now is sustainable. That's basically what I'm saying. I think at some point you will start dropping points, I believe.
What's more sustainable, outscoring your opponent or having a good defense and beating your team by low score margins?
No, I just think that the way you're playing, I just don't think it's going to be sustainable. I think you're going to run into trouble at some point. This is my prediction. And you will start maybe not losing games, but you will start drawing games because I don't think your attack is cooking the way it was last year, which is why I'm surprised he's changed the way, because I think the way that Arsenal were playing last season was good, and I don't like the way he's changed.
So you think there's going to be more 0-0s because we're not conceding too many goals?
No, maybe not 0-0s, maybe 1-1s, 2-2s, just draws, any draws. I think low scoring draws. Maybe 1-1, 0-0s, 1-1s, 2-2s, maybe something like that. I just don't think it's sustainable, bro. That's just my opinion. I just don't think what you're doing is sustainable. Based on what I've seen a lot of Arsenal. I do the hate-alongs. Yeah, I do the hate-alongs, and I don't think it's sustainable.
I think if you said we were scoring a bunch of goals, and we're blowing out teams, eventually you're not going to be scoring on that clip, and you're going to have much more closer games where you end up not getting that final goal. Maybe that would be unsustainable. But to say our defense has been carrying us, and we're not scoring enough. Once we start scoring, it's going to be a scary sight because we're not creating enough chances right now. That's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyways, I kind of get what you're saying, but I just disagree. Anyways, go ahead, Hussam. What are you saying on Arsenal?
I think Arsenal are very good, to be honest with you. The fact that they're only 1 point behind Man City, tied with Liverpool currently, and they look as bad as this, then the question then becomes, okay, so if they click into gear, what will happen? I said at the start of the season, I think Arsenal will win the league. There's two caveats. I think if we sign a DM in January, we'll win the league. That's my honest opinion. I think City are winning the Champions League this season. I don't think they're winning the Premier League. So that's my honest opinion of the situation this season. But in terms of Arsenal, the fact that Arsenal are only 1 point behind Man City, having essentially what LB just said, not even reached the levels that they done last season, is impressive. Yes, they were ahead last season and all of that, but we know we can't now change our energy. Last season, we told Arsenal fans, it's about how you finish, not how you start. So now I'm not going to sit up here and change my energy. Listen, it's about how you finish. You just have to keep a momentous run going, maybe try winning 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row, see what happens. But I think Arsenal are in a very good position in terms of winning the league, but it's about prioritizing competitions. And also, one thing that people are not realizing here, a lot of this also depends on who Arsenal get in the Champions League draw, how long they are in the Champions League. Because if they end up, let's all cut the crap here. It's very easy to laugh at Arsenal, which we all do in Europe, no problem. But if Arsenal end up on the Inter Milan side, for example, last season, they could have made it to the final, the Champions League final. If they ended up on the City Madrid side, that's a totally different story. If Arsenal play PSG, I don't think they're better than PSG. I don't think they're better maybe than... I actually do think they're better than Bayern. I think Bayern are overrated this season. But in terms of like PSG, maybe the elite teams, we have to see it still. So for me, it's very dependent on what happens in the Champions League. This is another thing people aren't talking about enough. What if City get tough draws? What if City get easy draws? What if Arsenal in reverse? Same with us in the Europa League. Like, how serious are we going to take it? If we are in a title race come March time. So all of these things, they matter. And at the end, we have to make we have to hope, our managers make the right decisions in terms of these competitions. But I think Arsenal are in good position. I don't think Arsenal fans have anything to worry about.
Fair enough. Finally, we're gonna move on to
except one thing. Sorry, Arsenal need a striker. This is one thing that is just like, if I'm Edu or if I'm Arteta and they tell me you have to choose one, I'm choosing striker right here, right now.
Over midfielder?
No, the problem is, I think Brentford are taking the piss, to be honest with you. I don't think... We got Vinny in the chat. Brentford represent for every single stream where we're on. But I think they're taking the piss. I don't think any club is paying 100 million for Ivan Toney. Nor is he worth 100 million. I don't think he's worth 100 million either, to be honest with you. I think Toney could be a difference maker because Toney is a very good footballer and at the same time he's a very good finisher. So them chances that Jesus misses, he scores. And the creativity that Jesus gives you, he might not give you at a Jesus level, but he's still giving you creativity. He's still getting Saka and Martinelli involved. So I think, he logically he would be ideal solution. But I think Brentford are asking for too much money. That's my honest opinion.
I seen a comment from Daily Smith. Saliba injured, you're fucked. You want to know something?
Rodri injured and they're fucked. Now what?
Yeah, you guys lose Mo Salah or Alisson or Van Dijk. Everybody
Not bad.
has players that are key to their team, and if you take that piece out, they get injured they get injured. They drop off in quality. Right now, I'm surprised how good Manchester City have been dealing with Kevin De Bruyne's injury this whole time.
I'm
That's
not.
what,
I'm
I'm
not. They've
surprised
never
how he's
needed
been
Kevin De
doing.
Bruyne to win a competition. They don't need KDB.
Declan Rice
Not
fitting right into that 6 role has allowed us to deal with Thomas Partey being out for majority of the season. He's played 4 games this whole entire season in the Premier League. That's
You know
how
who I
crazy.
think are the most important players for Manchester City? I don't even think Haaland is one of them. You know who I really think is the most important? Rodri is number 1. I think people don't speak on this enough, but I think Ederson is also up there in terms of importance, not best. Best is completely different. I think KDB is one of the best players, like 1 or 2 in the league over the last 5 years.
Ortega's not no
Around 5
slum,
years.
you know.
Yeah, I think it's just the third guy is probably used to be maybe a little bit Ruben Diaz, but now that they have a lot of cover in the center back area, I don't think it's that. So I think probably Rodri and Ederson for me is what they need for their system to operate. And you could even argue in terms of importance to the team, Bernardo Silva as well, as in where he plays, what he can offer the team, stuff like that. But I don't think they necessarily need KDB to win any trophies, to be honest with you.
Who's your most important player, LB?
Yeah, I don't think he's too wrong there. Rodri, Stones, he didn't mention Stones is huge for us because he allows us to play the 4-man midfield. And yeah, Ederson, Ortega's good, but Ederson is world class at what he does. So yeah, probably those players. I think Bernardo Silva is big, but I think we can probably manage without him. We can manage without Kevin De Bruyne. We've won the Premier League without Kevin De Bruyne before. I think it was 2019. He played 900 minutes and we still won it. So yeah, I would say Rodri, John Stones, Ederson is my top 3.
I have never seen Kai Havertz play left back at Arsenal. Stop it. That's not happening. We're not even going to talk about that on this stream. Forget it.
Oh my days.
Forget about that. Big up Hamza's piano. What does he say? Hussam finally admitting Ederson is the
I
best.
never admitted he's the best. I said he's important to the City system. Please, guys, Ederson and Allison conversations are just jarring. It's 2023. Allison won the debate long ago. This is like you trying to do this whole Oli versus Arteta thing. Like it's 2023, bro. Like let's just move on collectively as a people and just recognize one guy is just the better keeper and just keep it stepping. It's okay. I have a player in a position that's better than you. It's not the end of the world, man. Bro, just go ask the Brazilian people who they prefer in goal, and they tell you all they need to know.
Do you think it's a closer than Hussam makes it out to be, LB?
I think it is now. I think Hussam's living a few years in the past. A few years in the past, I think it was clear, but now
Alisson's the best keeper in the world.
Did I disagree, bro? I didn't disagree. But I'm saying I think the way you're mentioning it, like it's clear. I think a few years ago it probably was, but now Ederson's making big saves that he didn't do years ago. And I don't know why he started making saves, Ederson. I don't know whether it's because Ortega's come in. I don't know whether he's changed up his training. I don't know. But in the last 18 months, Ederson's save percentage has increased. He's making a lot bigger saves now that he didn't used to do. And I don't think you'd find any City fan on this planet that would swap him for Alisson. But nor would Liverpool fans swap Alisson.
Would you swap Diaz for Van Dijk? Forget about age.
Now, no. Again, back pre-injury, pre-Pickford injury, I would probably swap him then. But now I wouldn't swap him now.
Hussam, same question.
No, of course not. I'm keeping Virgil van Dijk. I think Virgil van Dijk this season's been the 2 best centre backs in the league this season are Van Dijk and Saliba, in my opinion. I think Virgil van Dijk, I've always said this, if he goes back to 80% of what he was pre-injury, then he's just unstoppable. And we see it this season with what they're doing, like with what Virgil van Dijk is doing this season in terms of just being a centre back general. I don't think you could trade that right now for anyone. So I'm taking him, and he's my captain as well. So I'm not gonna trade him.
There you go. By the way, Hamza has just infiltrated Wolves FI's account. Literally, Hamza tweeted about this earlier. That's how you can tell Hamza's spreading propaganda, bro. This is war times for Hamza. This is how he's going. LB, you got a good one on your side. He said, how about the original cheaters, Liverpool and Manchester United, match fixing in 1915? What? And Arsenal bribing their way into Division 1, same decade when we started investigating them. I am so confused. First
That
things
is such a, you know what's mad? Big up to Slime as well on Twitter, who sent me. He sent me. He's like, "Yo, Hamza's going to talk about this today because Hamza's under investigation on my channel at 9. So we're going to investigate him." Here, this
He's
is
from
this is the thumbnail. This is the thumbnail we got. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hamza's locked up behind bars right there. So we're gonna corruptly investigate Professor Hamza. But look, we're talking about 1915 here. Is mad. 1915. That's pre-World One. That is absolutely insane. Like to speak about 1915. But you'll never hear me defend Man United. Man United under Ferguson is exactly the reason why they're not successful now, because they're the most fraudulent football club I've seen my whole life in terms of referees and decisions and shit going their way all the time in the Premier League. Just go watch the Rafael Benitez interview. The one he's saying, I'm talking about facts. Go watch that one right there.
Facts.
That's iconic interview where he just tells you exactly the corruption with Man United. They had a guy on the board of Man United, also on the board of the FA. Are you mad? How's that possible? But anyway,
by the way, David Dean helped form the Premier League. So, of course, Arsenal were going to be part of it. It wasn't a bribery. Second of all, when it comes to the Bank of England stuff, every single major club that had an issue going through them periods got assistance from the Bank of England. So it wasn't just Arsenal. But yeah, we keep it moving. Let's get into this game. You guys got a massive game after the international breaks coming out. And has anyone even mentioned it during the international break? Have your fan bases been getting ready for this game? Because I remember coming back from the international break, I think we were facing Chelsea. Was it? Yeah, we were facing Chelsea coming back from the international break, and everyone's kind of like, oh, this is going to be a big game. They're getting excited about it. Are your fans starting to get excited? Because I'm not hearing no noise about this game yet.
I don't know, excited. I've not seen too many people speaking about it yet, but that's probably because of obviously what's happened with the charges to Everton. That is sort of taking precedent. But yeah, listen, it's going to be an interesting one.
City. No one's excited pre-Man City Liverpool.
No,
it's just tense, to be honest with you.
It is tense. It's City Pool is back, and Arsenal, you are not invited. And this is an exclusive club. It's an exclusive club. You have to be in a title race for more than 1 year to be.
You guys have a weird relationship. Like on Twitter, I see City fans saying during the Community Shield, "I wish we were still playing Liverpool in these kind of matches because we play different styles of football. It's more aesthetically pleasing." And like, I don't know what it is. Is it because we beat you the last 2 games we played? I don't know what it is.
No, I just don't think you're a serious club, and it's sort of, I think it devalues the competitions when you have one club that is serious for the title and another one that, I mean, every single person last year knew that Arsenal was going to bottle the league. I mean, that's not right. The Premier League shouldn't be in that situation. It should have 2 real contenders where everybody thinks that maybe one of these 2 teams could win the league.
Nobody ever took City serious until the Aguero moment happened. So I don't.
Correct. But now they do take us seriously, and this is that you're in the same position. This is why Arsenal need to win the league, because once you win the league, you'll be taken seriously. But at this moment in time, you like I say, you are still waiting for those moments. You're still waiting for a Champions League, which you're still yet to win. So Manchester City could overtake Arsenal's trophy haul in the next 2 seasons.
Overtake Chelsea first.
Yeah, we will. We'll do that this year. No problem.
Okay.
And
I'll celebrate that day, by the way. Don't worry.
So will I. But now listen. Sorry, bro. I'll say this on the game. It's going to be interesting. I think that both teams will probably not want to lose, which opens the possibility for Arsenal to go top. So that's good for you. But listen, I think Liverpool, I don't know, maybe Hussam could say it, they don't have the best half-12 record, I believe. I see a lot of Liverpool fans moaning about half-12 kickoffs in the UK. And it is at half-12 again.
Yeah, but you have to be honest, they are taking the piss with us because it's like, it's our 14th one.
No, but the reason why they did it that time is so policing, apparently.
No, it's because they changed one game from TNT to some shit like that. It's some broadcasting crap because it's... the 12:30 game was supposed to be Arsenal-Brentford, and the 5:30 game was supposed to be Liverpool City, and then they just switched it around, essentially. I have no idea why. Look, this is probably as confident as I'd be heading into the Etihad. The Etihad is probably the toughest stadium to go to in the Premier League currently. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I'm also realistic. I think Anfield is the second toughest. I think Etihad is probably the most difficult place to go to, not because of atmosphere or anything. It's just because City are dominant at home. So yeah, I cannot say I'm like excited, because it's just tense when you're playing Manchester City. You're just tense, you know. And I'm sure it's the same for LB. It's not like he's seeing Liverpool going like, "Yay, we're playing Liverpool." Like, no one does that. Like, this is a tough fixture. Klopp and the way we play football is the antidote to Pep, which is we're just gonna run, we're just gonna press. That's basically what we like to do. Maybe try win the ball high up the pitch, try get into dangerous positions. But I'm excited as I can be. I'm as confident as can be. If given a draw right now, I probably take it. But I'm a back my club. I think we could get something in this game.
Okay, and just before you guys give any score predictions or anything like that, we got 2 super chats here. Big up to Hamza's Piano once again. My man says, what? Don, how do you say that?
Don Alejandro Fergasoni, the biggest mafia.
Wallahi, that guy would literally just look at his watch and they would add extra time on the clock. It was mad. Then you got Ferguson once said, "The attack wins games, defense wins titles." We weren't wrong. We Arsenal started last season fast, and how did that work out? Exactly. I'm just gonna say this. Mikel Arteta looked at what he could do, and he said, to what he has to disposal, which way could he go? Could he go more defensive or could he go more attacking? And you want to know something? He said, I'm going to do what Diego Simeone does and go more defensive. But against the smaller teams, that's where we have to get our goal difference up. Against the bigger teams, we're going to see a lot more defensive performances from Arsenal. It's going to be boring. But LB, for somebody who knows, every team in the league is going to play us differently. Hussam, you guys know every team is going to be looking at it differently from what we did last season. They're going to play more low blocks. We're going to bore teams to death. And then in the 90th minute, smack them in the face and finish them off. That's how we're going to have to do it. And if we do that, we could win the league, even with a lesser goal difference than you guys. We don't need to have 60 goal difference to win the league. We just need to have 1 more point than you.
That's facts.
Yeah, that's facts. If given the choice to have the strongest defense in the league or the strongest attack in the league, I'm going strongest defense in the league, because defense is important. And even the year that we won the league, it was Van Dijk being unbelievable, Alisson being unbelievable, Joel Matip, best version of him, Trent, Robertson. The defense was just on lock. And for me, defensively, you have to be on point. You know, so that's my thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Arsenal approach. There's just a couple of games in which all 3 of us have, like, you know, if this happened here or that happened there or etc. But right now, I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's anything like, you know, I think is troublesome for any 3 clubs, because our clubs could kick into 5th gear and suddenly win 10 games in a row. Well, I know my club and LB's club can win even more than 10 games in a row, like 15 in a row, 16 in a row if required. So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, finally, let's get into the big thing right now. This game, what do you guys think is going to happen? Because I think we've all predicted our own teams to win the league, if I'm not mistaken. Hussam, you predicted Liverpool, right?
No, I predicted Arsenal to win the league.
Oh wow! Okay.
Wow.
I picked Arsenal. You kept your prediction from the summer, and of course you're going to go with City. But this game, I think, is going to be a tight game, and I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw. That's what I'm going to go for. What do you guys see?
I see that. I don't think Klopp's ever won in the Premier League at the Etihad Stadium. Looking at the stats there, I think they've only beaten us in the Champions League.
That was such an elite fixture, 5-1 on aggregate. That was beautiful right there.
Yeah, I don't think it was beautiful for me, bro. To be honest with you. Yeah, to be honest with you, it wasn't great. I'm not going to speak about that, man, because we'll be here for a long time. But yeah, no, I think it's kind of difficult, right? Because I wouldn't take a point, yeah, because to say take a point when we've never lost against Klopp's Liverpool in the Premier League at the Etihad and our home record is like one of the best in the world, basically. That just seems a bit negative. But then it also seems a bit arrogant of me to say I wouldn't take a point against the second best team in the league. So I don't know, man. I think that City will win the game. I'm going to go for 3-1 Manchester City, but not like a domination. You know, like a tight 3-1. Maybe 2-1. Liverpool are pressing. We get counter attack at the end, something like that. But if we got a point, I wouldn't be happy, but I would be. I would probably just be like, okay, yeah, we move on. The one of the reasons it's stopping me from like being happy with the point is the fact that you'll probably go top of the table because you'll probably beat Brentford, and I don't really want that to happen.
Hey,
Why are you thinking about Arsenal, LB, when making your own prediction? That's crazy.
Sam?
As I said, if given a draw, I'd take it right now. The Etihad is one of the most difficult places. I'll back my club, but I'm taking a draw, and I think it'll be high scoring. You're gonna see goals in this game. I think it, like you said, 2-2. I think it could even possibly be 3-3. To be honest with you, like, or we could even get a Chelsea City again, in which it goes 4-4 or something. Because I just don't think. I think this one is wild right here. So, yeah. If I'm going with my mind, I'm gonna say draw. But if I'm going with my heart, I'm gonna say, 3-2 Liverpool.
Boom. That is it. And guys, we got 300 of you guys in the chat right now. Do me a favor, all of you guys, smash that like button right now before we go anywhere. And don't forget to check out Hussam. He's going to be live later tonight. What time are you going live?
9
o'clock on his channel. And LB, you going live today?
I might go live in like 20 minutes and just do a little Q&A or something, man. I'm not sure.
There you go. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to their channels. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. And also don't forget, we're going to be back with another video, maybe Monday or Tuesday, just to do a quick Arsenal update. But love for the love, guys. Love for watching the show today, and catch you guys on the next video. Big up everybody in the comment section. And we're out of here, people. You already know what it is. You got Talks Football, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.